after a divorce, and after the untimely passing of my father. So that's how I became a writer. And here I am.
From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the Real Zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another podcast with Conversation with Trent and Shann. We got a nice one tonight, a real nice one tonight. Actually, the topic came about, I was actually speaking with a friend of mine over the last couple of days, and the subject of cheating came about. And I got to thinking, and I actually said to myself after actually talking to this individual, just because someone cheated doesn't mean they don't love you. Just because someone cheated doesn't mean that they don't love you. So I started thinking about past relationships and all the carnage that I left behind and what have you and whatnot. And got to thinking, I was a habitual cheater. I was really, really, really into cheating. And I didn't say that I didn't love them when I was cheating. So let's bring Shannon in. See what she has to say about this. Shannon, what's going on?
Hey, good evening. Happy Hump Day.
Happy Hump Day. We got a guest today, a special guest by the name of Coach D. Layler. Coach D. Layler. She's a trauma coach and an ex-girlfriend of mine. After I thought about the topic, gave her access.
What of yours? Wait a minute. A what of yours?
An ex-girlfriend. She happens to be a trauma coach. But actually, I saw her in the conversation group, right? And she commented on the poll that you put up about the cheating, the cheating and what have you. So got me to thinking. I was like, I'm going through all these different emotions when I saw her name. And I was like, damn, I can't believe this. I didn't even know how to respond. Didn't even want to, reply to her because I didn't know if she was one of the women that I left along the road.
That you did dirty?
Exactly. So I couldn't remember, with the condition. I could not remember, honestly. Now, Shannon, come on, I have a condition. So I couldn't remember had I did her dirty or not. So I sent her a message. I said,
you have done so many women wrong. You don't even remember. You really don't know.
So I gave her a call. I called her up. I said, hey, give me a call when time permits. So she was like, everything okay? You okay? I was like, oh, shit, here we go. So she called me, and we got to talking. I'm going to let her finish the story off with that one. But she's actually from Newfoundland. She's from Canada. She's from Canada. Very good friend of mine. We very good friend. She's a very lovely person. So let's bring her in. Coach D. Layler.
Hey, everyone.
What's going on?
So, Shannon, you may be surprised by this. I actually ghosted the womanizer. So he just realized this. He thought he had done me dirty. So it was intense, like 8 months, a year or something. And then I was like, you know what? I need to focus on me. I was getting out of the army. I wanted to pay off all my debts and figure out if I was staying in Toronto. And I just stopped calling him.
Oh, wow.
So it was not him. It was me. No, I don't know. I don't think he cheated on me because we were on the phone constantly. So like all the time. So I don't know the man had time for that because I keep a pretty.
And actually, when we weren't talking, we weren't speaking on the phone. She was actually taking the train up from Toronto.
Okay.
And it's lovely weekends and what have you, and weeks at a time.
Good.
It was my mother used to call her Princess Diana.
Oh. So where did that come from?
The accent.
Okay.
So I've been. Go ahead.
So I was gonna say, so how did you meet this since you were in Canada?
I used to travel to Canada frequently. I used to frequent Canada a lot.
Oh, you talking about during your speaking engagements?
No, this is me going over to Canada, just hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right, because that was in the book. Yes, that was
Yeah.
in the book about you when you would go to Yes, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
So actually, she lived in Toronto, but she's from Newfoundland.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, before we go any further, I just want to say we've got a lot of folks who've already tuned in tonight. So hi, Richard, welcome. Thanks for tuning in.
Richie,
Wendy, we
what
see
up?
you. Yeah, Richard, of course. Wendy, I see you. Mark is back on with us tonight. Donna is here, and Martine is back. So I'm glad your schedule is working out that you can be with us on Wednesdays, Martine. Donna said he is not a cheater. Donna, I don't know about all that.
Well, actually,
he wrote about it. Maybe he's too old now to do it, but he wrote about the stuff back in the day.
That's funny.
Wait, I think you owe it. I think you owe it to our guests to clear things up, because she said she wasn't sure if you cheated or not. So let's get, what's the verdict?
No, I didn't cheat on D. I didn't cheat on.
Okay.
I didn't cheat on. And actually, I mean, I know it was a lovely relationship. It really was. We learned from one another. Actually, I learned a lot from her, and that was in the time of transitioning from a marriage. I was actually separated. That was it for that marriage, and she.
So this was the stage after the stuff happened with Morgan.
Actually, in the middle of it, it was right on the heels.
When Romello was already experiencing some karma, so you were in transition.
Correct.
Romello was in. Okay,
Correct.
Gotcha.
So the lovely, as my mother affectionately called her, Diana walked in graciously and walked me through my trauma. And it's just so happens she's a trauma coach now, a certified trauma coach. So yeah, but I was so afraid of calling her. I was like, damn, what is D doing in this group? I don't even remember putting her in the group.
Oh wow!
And I was like, damn, she's commenting on the Shannons, but what? I didn't know how to approach her. So when I asked her, I got around to it. I said, hey D, I said, what did I actually do? so she was like, Trent, well, actually, you didn't do me anything. Everything, we had a good relationship, but I ghosted you. I was like, I paused. I said, what? She said, yeah, I ghosted you. I said, okay. Well, that was relief. I felt bad for a minute. Like, come on, man. But
interesting. So Richard said that you never took him to Canada. So maybe that might be something you need to do. Donna, what you mean lies? What lies? He said he was the one that said he had cheated, and that Romello had cheated. Romello
did cheat.
Romello cheated a lot. So I don't know. And Mark, I don't know what you mean talking about Sister Cleo, wrong again, strike. Mr. Epic, read wrong again. No, he is not read wrong, sir. He wrote about it. So that's I can only speak on what he wrote. So Donna said we have people that come into our lives to help us over the hump. That is true. That is very true.
Exactly.
What did they say? A reason, a season, or what was the other one?
A reason, a season, and a lifetime.
Yeah.
Or a lifetime. Yeah. So yeah.
So it was good stuff, man. And I learned, like I said, I learned a lot from D and what have you. And it was during a troubling time, a very traumatic time in my life. Mm-hmm. And it got me to think when I saw her name, because I was actually ready to roll with the show and just talk about the crazy cheating I did. I was like, I was afraid to call her up because I was like, I didn't know what I did. I did not know. I didn't know. I had no idea.
Wow.
But it got me to thinking about that when they're talking about cheating. Just because you cheated doesn't mean he didn't love you.
Okay, so I think you're gonna when we get into that, you're really gonna have to kind of elaborate a little bit more for me on that, because I kind of have a different point of view a little bit, but I can kind of understand where you're coming from, I think. So when we get into the nuts and bolts of it, we'll you can explain your position on that. As the professional cheater. And I'm only saying this because you did it. So you're the pro here at it. So you have the expertise. You're the subject matter expert in cheating, so to speak. Does that make sense? No shade. You're just the subject matter expert.
So D, before we get started, you want to lay out exactly what you do? Trauma coach, certified trauma coach.
So I am actually a certified trauma coach. My topic of interest for me is conscious parenting and breaking down generational traumas. So most of my parenting coaching has nothing to do with the kids whatsoever. 95% of it has to do with the parents, because the vast majority of our kids' reactions and attitudes is all about how we communicate to them, or lack of communication with them, and how we talk to them. Like, we don't give a lot of parents who are raised, I'm a Gen Xer, so we were ignored pretty much, raised ourselves. So our kids weren't getting the empathy, compassion, and the communication that they need in order to thrive. And so I help parents understand that if their kids are doing something and they're triggered, it's not the kids that's the problem. You have to figure out your triggers so that you can react to your children. And
Exactly.
so that your kids can grow up in a healthy, safe environment, and that the generational trauma circle stops. Like, one of the big things I get kicked out of Black parenting groups all the time for telling people to stop beating their kids.
You said stop beating their kids?
Yeah. If I walked up to you, like, if say we worked together and you did something wrong and I came up and slapped you, I'd be going to jail. But people have no problem doing that to a 2-year-old. So when you put it on that mode, you're like, oh, well, wait a second. Maybe I shouldn't be slapping the 2-year-old. Maybe I should be communicating with them. And
Right.
so I help people work through their trauma of how they were raised, so they can reparent themselves, so that they can parent their kids.
That's very interesting, because now I was it's not that I don't believe in I will say physical punishment for children. I was definitely a recipient of it as a child, but I have 3 teenage daughters now, and it's odd. It's kind of odd to me, and sometimes I'm like, wow, but I have never had to physically discipline them. We've always talked to and communicated with them, and that was not the way. It's just not the way that they learn to do course correction, on their behavior. So, I'm not opposed to it, but I don't necessarily feel that it's required for every child in every instance, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't think it's required for any children, but there's studies for it to back it up and everything. So, but that's a
Right.
whole that's a fight. Yeah, it is. So it's and it's but here's the thing: that trauma you have as kids reflects on your other relationships. So the traumas that you get from your parents, right into why you cheat.
There you go.
And it's like,
Appreciate the alley. Let's jump into the topic. Appreciate that alley, because I'm going to bring that up.
Yes.
One of the things I discovered and I found when I was doing that cheating, for one, I did it because that's what I wanted to do. I did it because that's what I actually wanted to do. I didn't find out until years later that I was a cheater because of what I saw, what I witnessed as a child. I became that very thing that I hated. I became my father. I was a womanizer. I became my father. So that's one of the things. And just because I cheated don't mean I didn't love you. It doesn't mean I didn't love you. The problems always started with me. It was with me the entire time. So do you guys believe that you could actually love 2 people at the same time?
Yeah.
Yes. I think that's why I honestly, I believe that's why you have such a poly lifestyles and poly relationships that actually work, because people are able to freely express that they love more than one person at the same time.
Right.
But I'd be interested, D, on your perspective, as to, and I think this is really something all of us have experienced in some shape or form or another, those things that we may have despised or hated in our parents, so to speak, how it is that we're either attracted to that, or we become or do those same things, exhibit those same behaviors as adults, when we despise them so much as kids because of the trauma that they put us through.
Well, it goes back to, even though we have all that trauma, we love our parents. Like, unless our parents were like off the extreme end where there's no love there at all, we love our parents. Like, I dated men who were exactly like my father. very outgoing, very handsome, very gregarious, who were womanizers. Point example A. But and here's the thing: until I sat down and started, when I got cheated on, and sat down and go through all my trauma, figure out why I was dating my father, who literally was the exact opposite of what I wanted in a man. I didn't realize that it's actually a post-traumatic. It's a stress. It's a PTSD.
Well, come on now, come on, D.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's be honest and be fair. The relationship was wonderful.
You were wonderful. You were fabulous. It was amazing. It was intense. You're one of the few men who could keep up with me. So we'll leave it at that.
Wait a minute. What is the no? We going back to that. No, you ain't gonna get away with that easy. Not on this podcast. Continue.
So, but it's what happens is you, as children, we get trauma, and then we get a PTSD from the trauma that we have. So what happens is our comfortable spot is what we know. When you have trauma, if you work through the trauma, you have to work through that comfortable spot to get into the uncomfortable and what you're not familiar with. It's a lot harder to be in a relationship with something that you're not familiar with. Like, for instance, you grew up in a single parent, but you're dating somebody who grew up with two parents, and they have these huge family gatherings. For most people who grew up in like a divorce situation who don't have that, that's going to be very uncomfortable the first few times they go, because they're not used to that dynamic. So once we get out of our comfortable spots, then we work on the past trauma where we're at, we can move into healthier relationships.
Okay.
Like, so then we don't have like the same stuff with a different guy or different girl.
So the question for the viewers I have, and for you ladies as well, can you cheat on someone you truly love?
I can't, but that's me. My morals and values don't allow it.
Shannon?
I don't know. I haven't, so no. I would say I'd have to say no. Like, to me, for me, the truly love thing is just like, it's that all encompassing thing where you don't even have a desire to want to that or be with anybody else.
I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine, EJ, and we were talking about this topic. I said, hey, you should come through tonight and check it out. So I posed a question to him, and I told him the difference as far as cheating goes, as far as between men and women. Men totally go off of they just want to screw, period. They could go home, brush their teeth, take a shower, get into bed with another woman, and leave it right where it was. Okay? Right. But women cheat strictly on emotion, on adrenaline of emotions and feeling and pain and everything. Men really don't cheat like that. Men cheat, first of all, because they can. I know I did. I'm speaking from experience. But that's the difference between a man and a woman cheating, in my opinion. Because I had no feeling when I would cheat, none. The only one feeling that I would have, like, say, like if someone that I was just doing it just to be doing it, I'd actually feel dirty at the end. Wow. And I literally had to take a shower right then and there. I didn't even want to be touched after that. I just wanted away from this woman. That's how I knew I was actually dealing and cheating from trauma. I did not even want to be touched after that. I needed a shower immediately after that. So I get in trouble most of the time going home smelling like a shower because I could not keep that stench on me. It felt like I felt dirty.
Okay. So we've got a couple of comments here. I'll make sure we acknowledge. Martine said, if you cheat, you do it because you're suffering with the union you're in or because it's just something extra. So that was kind of a question she posed. Mark said, of course, here we go. For the record, some folks that must have a black robe in their closet. Mark, stop. Just a black robe in their closet. Young Romello has changed his energy and deposits into the universe. He's paid his debt. Let it go, Judge. Nobody is judging him. He wrote about this and said this, so we bring it up because it's he has it. It is there in history. It's part of history now, Mark. Get over it. Stop it. Stop the madness. And by the way, are you singular tonight? Because I truly, every time you put comment in here, I understand why you are.
There's this thing we have with Mark every night on Wednesdays and Sundays. Shannon asks him, is he single? So either he'll say he's single at the J, meaning the job, or he's at the crib.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's single.
We know Mark is single. So Donna said, yes, you can be in love with more than one person. You can, but not in love with more than one person. Martine
interesting, cool face. Interesting. The conversation we had.
And let's see. Martine said you can love more than one person at a time. I believe that. Welcome, Gentle Giant. Thanks for tuning in. And Martine also said, what about the person who's almost always in something with a cheater? How's that a thing? How's that a thing that can happen more than once with a person? How's that a thing that can happen more than once for a person? And Donna said in response to you, Trent, that a woman cheats for the lack of, and men cheat because they can. Yeah. So Martina, are you asking how is it that some women can always be in some type of relationship with someone who's a cheater? Are we are attracting? You're somehow attracting men who are always cheating.
One more. Who's that question for, Shannon?
I'm not sure, but I just want Martine to clarify that.
Gotcha.
Mark said he asked about the coach in his comments. Okay, Mark, you're gonna make me go back up. Let's see. Oh, he said she answered what part of Canada she was from. You must not have been listening, but can you tell Mark again what part of Canada you're from?
I'm actually from Newfoundland.
All right, you got it, Mark. I know sometimes it's hard for some folks down there in Nolans to get it.
Hey, knock it off.
Still. Okay.
He still, after 17 years, he still pronounces it wrong. So,
did I mispronounce it? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I've always said Newfoundland.
That's all right. We'll get one of these decades.
I said a decade. So is there something that like? Because sometimes I've heard that we attract who we are, not who we want, right? So if you're always attracting men or someone of the opposite sex who has an issue with being loyal or faithful, and you've not been a person who's had that issue in relationships, like I think that might be something Martine was asking about. How is it that you attract or end up with these type of people who have those issues in relationships?
I actually believe you attract what you lack.
Ooh.
Because you use other people to fill the void that you have within. So, like, I'm an introvert, so I always attract really outgoing, extroverted people because that's not who I am. But I try to be more extroverted, so that's who I tend to attract. So when I talk to people, and with talking to parents, there's always like this dynamic of the exact opposite. One's very quiet, one's very loud, one's the class clown, one's very studious, and I always looked at people and it's like, yeah, it's a lack thing. It's not the same. It's what you're looking for that you don't have within yourself.
So is it a coincidence? Is it just like a happy coincidence, so to speak, for lack of better words, that they could tend to be people who are cheaters or have an issue being faithful?
Because they're always trying to fill that void from outside to get external validation, when you can never fully fill a void with external validation. It has to come from within.
Right.
So if you have a hole and you're just like throwing stuff at it, but it's never actually going into the hole, it's never going to get filled up.
Exactly. And honestly, I didn't be honest with you. I'll be transparent here for a moment. I didn't realize what I was chasing until Tammy, the other coach, life language coach, Tammy, Shannon. Mm-hmm. She had me reread the Four Horsemen book. And once I was wondering why you have me going back and read this work? I mean, I haven't read it since, I wrote that like years ago. She was like, hey, read it or don't call me no more. I'm like, what? So I read the book and I realized what I was chasing. I was chasing the acceptance from my father. I wanted my father's accept always. My dad was a great man in great stature, but he was a great womanizer. Women loved him. Women loved him, and I always admired that. I became that. but I was actually wanting that acceptance from my father all those years.
So is it that it was projected onto the women that you were getting that acceptance that you were trying to get from your father was projected onto the women?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. And I felt like the more women I gained, it was almost like a trophy for my father. Like, I hope he's proud. You understand what I'm saying? But I mean, and I was always nice and kind to him. I was never disrespectful to him. I was never treated him bad at all.
Right.
That's why I have friends. All my exes are friends. We're friends, except one.
Okay.
But go ahead.
No, well, just to get to the comments. So Mark said he has family from Canada too. Donna agrees. She said you do attract what you lack. So Martine says, do you all think that a person who constantly attracting cheaters, is there something in you that invites it? And so what is a person lacking when they're attracted to or are attracting persons who are people who are already married or involved? You have any thoughts on that? That was Martine's question. So
You want to catch that, D?
Very good question, Martine.
So I've always found that they are looking for validation as well.
Okay.
Because a lot of time, if somebody is in a relationship with somebody who's already committed to somebody, then that relationship, there is no commitment involvement. So they don't have to worry about that commitment because they're going back to somebody else. And they also don't have to worry about any responsibilities because their relationship is just a fun relationship. So, and they're actually using the spouse as a triangulation source to keep it spicy. Because when you're cheating, it's all about the fun and the excitement, the forbidden fruit, right? There's no commitment.
That's what you mean by spicy.
Yeah, there's no commitment. There's no relation. There's no true relationship because there's that third person there. As long as that third person doesn't know, it's fun. But as soon as that third person finds out, then it just becomes another relationship. And you'll find that the vast majority of outside relationships usually fall apart after about 4 years.
So
because they don't have that triangulation.
So you telling me with all these women, I kept these women around because it was spicy for me. It was a adrenaline rush for me.
Well, I don't know. Well, you tell me.
I'm just asking.
You were the one cheated.
Yeah, was it?
It was a rush. It was a rush.
So what happens when, let's say, in that triangulation or dynamic, when it gets to a point where it's no longer just about the fun and games, it's about something, I guess, serious attachments form, right? Mm-hmm. Where the other party is now looking to, okay, now I may want to move on with this other person now and leave my current situation. So how does that affect the dynamic in your experience or from what you've experienced?
So, and this is where it's actually, there's an illness. It's called post-infidelity syndrome. And that's where a lot of people who are cheated on, who are in marriages, get stuck because it is a trauma, because you've been betrayed, you've been lied to, and cheaters will use every excuse in the book. Like my ex-husband told me that the 4,000 minutes were dropped calls. Like, I'm sorry, there's no 4,000 minutes of drop calls on any cell phone. You know what I mean? Like, we're not stupid. Like, but they will come up with the most ridiculous lies. And once you move into, I call it May, like I don't really care about it. May is like, whatever. It's actually funny when you look back at the things that they would say to get away with it. Like, I'm sure you probably said some doozies of lies, right? But here's what happens. So the spouse is now moved out of the situation, and then you have whoever is the other woman, other man. They're going to get into a relationship. So statistically, only 1 in 4 of those relationships succeed. And the reasons they don't succeed is once you remove that triangulation source of the other spouse that makes it spicy, then they have to build a relationship based on a true relationship where there's responsibilities and commitments, and all the fun is gone. Like, they're not sneaking off to hotels anymore. Like, sneaking off to hotels at lunch for a quickie is exciting.
Yeah.
Here's where I was different. Why I was different. I would cut it completely off. I didn't. If they even thought about it, it was inkling of an idea of talking about making the relationship go further.
Uh-huh.
I'm cutting water. I'm cutting
Wow.
water, electricity, everything.
All the power is going out, huh?
Everything is going out.
Okay.
I didn't even allow them to get close to me at all.
So you weren't actually being open and authentic at all. So you were just showing them a representative, not who you were.
That's it. They got Romello all the time.
Wow.
I don't know Romello, so I didn't meet him.
It sounds like you're probably lucky that you didn't.
Actually, you're probably luckier for him, because I'll tell you one thing. The first time he picked me up at the train station, he didn't get out of the car. And I said, "You did not get out of the car? What kind of Southern gentleman are you?" And I think it's the first time in his life that a woman has ever looked at him and told him who he was.
Ooh.
And he was like, "I'm sorry, ma'am. I did not mean," and like, it was nothing but apologies. But I think that dynamic is why I never met Romello.
So actually, she's similar to you, Shannon, with that straightforwardness, boldness, and just pretty rough around the edges.
What?
We are diamonds.
Rough around the edges?
Yeah, we are diamonds. Diamonds just cut glass. That's all. People forget that.
I don't know. I'm just like, wow, really, sir? We just don't take the BS. That's all.
I hate you.
We just don't take the BS.
That's good stuff. Hey, as you mentioned the train, D.
No.
I did not remember that until you and I started talking on yesterday, and I asked you about the train. I was like, "Were we on a train?" And I'm actually letting you know that as part of the condition, Shannon. I really did not know until yesterday. D is my witness.
So funny how this condition only shows up at certain points in times. I'm not doubting, but it's kind of like it shows up when it's really convenient for you at times. And at the times that, like those times when you're like real ornery and grumpy and an asshole to folks, like that you really need to hone that energy in on some stuff, the condition, it takes over. But on a regular basis, when you just a grumpy old man at times, you want to blame the condition.
Yeah.
I like you.
But it's so true. It's almost like you pick and choose when this condition takes over. And I'm just
not D.
I'm getting whiplash at this point.
In my defense, D, did I ask you a ton of questions about what happened?
Oh yeah, you did. He was very shocked when I told him I ghosted him. He was very shocked. Yeah. So
I like that. I mean, it sucks to get ghosted, but I like that. I'm not trying to be
for the first time in my life I got ghosted. And I don't even remember it.
Wow. But what really gets me is that and I'm not really trying to throw shade, but it's kind of like Romello did so many women wrong that you can't even remember what you did or didn't do to somebody.
It was an honest question. When I asked her, I said, D, what did I do you? And she's right there. I said, what did I do? She said, what do you mean? I didn't know how to reach out or how to, because I didn't know what I did. But
it's 35 after, so we've gone way past our break time. But Donna had a comment in there. Mark said that it's starting to sound like only men cheat. And Donna responded to him and said, women cheat as well. A lot won't admit it. But what is considered cheating? So I think when we come back from break, we should start off on that and really define what is considered cheating, because it can be subjective to a certain extent.
Absolutely. We'll be right back, folks.
Thanks for tuning into Conversations with Trent. We will be right back with more conversation after these commercial breaks.
work of the author Trent Williams of www.taylorkennedymedia.com. Chapter of the Delta gives us a peek at his life-changing events. And if that's not enough, Trent tells you more about his brothers and his life through memoirs in his book, The Four Horsemen. His blogs and daily stimulating quotes are published in his book, Life's Little Addiction. And when you have a need of some human coaching of life and relationships, take a look at Conversations with Trent, Volume 1 and 2, and Conversations with Trent, Limited Edition. You will find his works available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all online book retailers.
Welcome back to Conversations with Trent. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're online and want to be a part of tonight's topic, you can do that by dialing 347-324-5327. Press the number 1 to get into the queue so that your voice can be added to tonight's conversation. Now, let's get back to the show.
Folks, we're back. Ran a couple ads there. There's the wonderful ad by Tabs Edible Creation, one of the sponsors of tonight's show, along with Taylor Kennedy Media. Tabs Edible Creation with the wonderful cookies and infused cakes. TabsEdibleCreation.com is the spot. I could actually vouch for those cookies. They're wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Well, thank
Good
you.
stuff.
All right. So
Good stuff.
Donna, I know before we went on break, we wanted to know kind of what the viewers thought cheating was, and I guess all of us can give our opinion on exactly what it would we would consider cheating in a relationship. But Donna did say that you can have long-lasting relations been going on since before many of us before. So what about those? And I'm only saying because based on what you've shared about your the dynamics of growing up in with Big Will, when you have those long-standing relationships where there's a third party, or even when people have had those long-standing relationships with a third party and they have a whole nother family that's come out of that and kind of that type of dynamic.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
So how did that affect, I guess, you and your brother? I think Alvin, and hopefully if he's still on, if he's willing to share, how did that really affect you and affect really kind of your perspective as men growing up and coming into manhood, and also how you felt about your father?
Honestly, as far as that, it didn't have as far as I'm concerned, it wasn't. I didn't look at that as a negative impact as far as that aspect of his life.
Mm-hmm.
When my discrepancies came in with him was a cheat from my mother. That's why I had a problem with him, with the cheat.
Is that not part of the same? Then what do you mean? You didn't consider him, if he had developed a whole nother family on the side down the street with whoever, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't part of the negative impact that came from cheat.
I wouldn't say, because the major problem I had was the cheat on my mother.
Okay.
That was my major part in it. I mean, even growing up, it took me a long time, even after his passing, it took me a long time to get past that cheat. You see the double-edged sword there?
Yeah,
so
kind of, yeah.
It made me go into protective mode of my mother. But as far as with him womanizing, I actually adored that. I admired that. I really did, even from a young boy, because my womanizing days started off as a young boy. Michael told you that on podcast. I think last week's podcast.
Yeah, you stalked in the girls' bathroom.
Last I called it a stalk. They came to me. Okay. D, why are you shaking your head? Why are you shaking your head, D?
Because I caught my little 8-year-old, some little girl with braids and beads, trying to latch on her little hand on him on car pickup line. And I was like, Xavier Paul. And then I heard from behind me, little miss, what do you think you're doing? I'm like, yeah, you go
Wait,
get
that's what
that
he
little,
said? That's what he said?
no, the little girl's daddy. I'm like, she was absolutely adorable, but she was like trying to grab onto my son. I'm like, what? I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
Did Xavier stop her, though? Did he stop her?
Xavier he still thinks girls are icky, so he was like
Oh,
trying to run away. But
he did you say he's 8?
mhm,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
I think I got maybe a year left.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Man.
Absolutely.
All
So
right.
yes,
So
the
viewers,
problem.
we need your feedback. We need to know what you guys consider cheating. Is it the hidden communications, whether it's text messages or 4,000 minutes worth of drop calls? What do you consider cheating in a relationship? Everybody has different boundaries and different levels. So let us know what your thoughts are. I will say for me, it can be communication. It can be just communication and nothing physical has actually happened yet. Because I feel
So
like,
you consider that a cheat?
yeah, I would, because to me, your heart is somewhere else. It's no longer with me,
I
and
believe that.
that's the aspect of it that for me, that's where the betrayal lies.
For speaking for men, as a man, the mental piece is a little more dangerous. Like if she's mentally involved with this guy,
Mm-hmm.
I can't get past that. If she's mentally involved with it, I can't get past that. Well, we'll have to change some stuff up. Because if she's mental, that means like when she's laying with me, her mind is somewhere else. So like they say, your mind is on the other side of town. Your
Wow.
body's here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town.
yeah. And
D?
I'm pretty much, if you're doing something that you need to hide from me, that means you're
Mhm.
cheating.
Yeah.
So if it's a phone call, if it's a text message, a WhatsApp, and it's really easy now to cheat with the social media, and it's easy to hide it. Like you have invisible mode. You can delete everything, and it's really easy. But if you need to hide it, it's cheating, just plain and simple. Whether it's an emotional cheating or it's a sexual cheating, it's all cheating.
Mm.
So some people will be like, "Well, yeah, but I'm just texting, and then we're just sexting, and there's nothing going on." I'm like, "Yeah, but you're sexting somebody who you're married to. Your wife is not getting that. Why don't you sext your wife?"
Mm.
And like,
Wow.
if cheaters spent as much time, and this is male and female, if they spent as much time doing the same things with their spouses that they did with their cheaters, that the person they were cheating with, they would have a whole different relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, question for you ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Would you take a cheater back?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I have, so I'd have to say yes. I have done that in the past. Now, I have not run into that. I would say recently, within the past several years, but I've done it in the past, so I know there were levels to or reasons to that.
Yeah, so you're shaking your head.
No. So, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm divorcing. My husband cheated on me. Like D-Day was 3 years ago, I guess, last month.
Mhm.
So, he did it once before, but it was just emotional. They were long distance. They weren't talking. So I was like, you know what? Okay, let's work through this. But this time I was like, you know what? We even did a counseling session, like Hold Me Tight. I supposedly like the biggest counseling weekend.
Mhm.
95% of relationships come through it stronger. I did that, and I was like, no, I'm done.
Oh,
And I was like, no. And so you have some people can, I can't, because
okay.
then I can't trust you. And once I get
Here-
to trust you, that's it. I'm not, because of the trauma I had before. I can't rebuild trust like that.
So
Right.
what do you guys say about, to the women and some men who say, I wrote a blog about this maybe 12 years ago. Quality or quantity? You got a relationship of 25 years and he's a habitual cheater, like he cheats,
Oh,
type of cheat. But here's the thing. These women will sit here, and I've had clients like that in the past. I can't give up these 25 years. I just can't do it. We've been through so much.
Mhm.
A relationship of 25 years of straight cheating is horrible.
It's a
5 minutes of pleasure, as far as 5 minutes of peace,
Right.
5 minutes of peace outweighs all that.
and
5 minutes of peace.
you have to look at how society treats women who are divorced as well. So remember, women can only could get a bank account or a credit card in the 70s. Prior to that, women were completely dependent on men, so you had to stay.
Right.
And now, even now, women who divorce who have children end up in poverty because they have children, and they can't work the same amount of hours, and women get paid less. So and then men will, especially men who cheat, will not statistically do not pay child support at the same rate
Mm,
as men who don't cheat,
okay.
Okay.
because
Good info.
and they emotionally disconnect from their children.
Mm.
Right. And remember, and it's the same thing I said about the easiest way to get through a cheating relationship is to emotionally disconnect yourself from the person that cheated on you with, because they're no longer extraordinary. Then they become just an ordinary person. And then once they lose that extraordinary and become ordinary, then you start moving into the what did I see in them? And then you start seeing all the red flags that you didn't see when you were in love.
Wow.
Right. Let's get to the comments real quick.
Mhm.
Yes. So Donna said, when we were going back to as far as what she felt cheating was, she said conversation can lead to mental without touching. Trent. She said she would say your words can basically be considered cheating.
Yeah. Okay.
Mark said, "Oh, guess Mark is asking. I'm assuming this is that he's asking me." He said, "So did so many women wrong?" Question mark. Also, when serial dating, is that considered cheating? No, it's not considered cheating because you're not in a committed
Yeah.
relationship with anyone, Mark. So try me again on the next one, Mark. Okay. I know what that is. Now, Mark, I'm not sure what this is. You said your first point, embracing another man that's not family, and those sneaky, freaky massage, those new sneaky, freaky massages.
He's talking about the thing that you guys were subscribing to.
Those new massages, though, like that's
straight cheating. That's straight cheating.
Mhm.
You think so?
Hell yeah.
If you're
That's
touching them,
cheating.
yeah.
Have you seen those videos?
Thank you, D.
So D, have you seen those videos about with these new massages where they look like it could be like some porn type stuff, but everybody's clothed in the right spots, but
Listen,
That's straight soft porn, man. That's straight soft porn.
dang,
Yeah.
really?
I've gone and gotten a massage, and it was nothing like that.
Hey, they used to have. Hey, you remember that joint down in Windsor? They had a spot in Windsor like that, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've never been. Sounds like you've been there, though.
So Martine,
carry on. Let's get to
in response of your quantity versus quality says people don't want to let go or move on from all of the time they've invested, whether it's been years or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, my marriage did not end because of cheating, but we had significant years. So I guess I'm one of those people that I can let go of time. I guess I don't really look at time as being the main factor for why you stay with someone. But if there's no quality of life, so to speak, in that relationship. Mark said, addendum to number 1, hugging a non-family man or woman at this point in the game. That's cheating?
No.
What?
Wait. Say it again.
Serious. Like, we're really trying to help folks tonight. Like, this is actually really good stuff. And Martine agreed with you. She said cheating is anything that has to be hidden. And these new style massages are like a sex act. Okay.
Exactly.
Dang, Martine, I guess I can't get one of those. Okay.
And she also said that she prefers quality.
Yes.
And that's what I was getting at with quality or quantity. You get folks that's been in these long relationships, man. Like, and I know somebody very close to me that would not give up that marriage. It was extremely toxic. 25 years of cheating on both sides.
Wow. Yeah. So why did they stay together? Is it just the time, or are there other things? Some people will say, I've got the benefits, or like.
I have my opinion. The reason why she stayed is he was a wonderful provider. when I say wonderful provider, she didn't have to work. So he allowed her to do her thing and let it go because he definitely was doing his thing.
Yeah.
Thoroughly.
I get, you know, I think about it when I was going through my divorce, or I made the decision to divorce. I mean, it really is scary, especially when you have kids, and you know, you do have to think about the financial aspect. You think about what type of trauma you're gonna, you know, put your kids through potentially, and all of that. So it's very scary. But I also looked at the other side where I felt like my kids seeing me in an unhealthy atmosphere or relationship was not going to benefit them in the long run.
Exactly.
And
Let's
that's
dig into that. Let's dig into that one.
Momentum to keep going, to move forward.
Let's dig into that one word that Donna just put up there. Comfortable.
Yes.
The devil you know versus the devil you don't.
Right. Exactly.
Like the dating pool like when you hit a certain age, the dating pool is not that great. Those fish are not looking all that fabulous.
There's caca in it. There's pee and caca in it.
So I get it. Yeah, be comfortable, because when you look at the long run, it's a whole story that you've had to change in your life. If you've been with somebody for like 30 years, they were supposed to be your happily ever after. You're going to go,
Right.
your kids graduate, you're going to be empty nesters, you're going to do whatever, and all of a sudden the rug is yanked out from underneath you. You have to rebuild the entire story.
I'm glad you ladies said that. I wrote a quote after actually going over this topic for today. I wrote a quote, and the quote says, "It's easier to leave and harder to stay in that relationship." Period. It's easier to leave and harder to stay in that relationship. I don't believe in nothing staying around where nothing hurts me. After a while, I'm out. I'm completely out. I'm not going to stay for 15, 20 years. All that pain, man, that's a lot of pain to endure.
But you know, I think, and I agree with you on that aspect. Then it goes back to, we have to go to everybody's not where you are, right? Where as developed and it as advanced in their mental and emotional state as you are. And sometimes it's easier to stay and harder to leave in their mind, in their psyche, I think. Because it is still, just like Coach D said, it's the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. And it is not, now, you know, you guys get on me about the whole serial dating thing or whatever, but it's not like it's that fun. It's not fun having to have these same monotonous conversations and having to vet people and all of this stuff.
It's gonna be a hot summer. Have you opened that pool up yet?
First of all, yes, it has been open. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right, okay.
It's very much open and alive. So it's getting hot in the A. Since you want to know so much about what's going on with me. But seriously, but it's not fun. Like sometimes I'm like, oh God, I gotta go through, okay, you gonna text before you decide you want to not text anymore.
Right.
Like, and you get up enough courage to say, okay, can we talk on the phone?
Exactly. But
be consistent. That is exhausting. And at times it's like, you know what, F this. Forget it.
I get that. And that this is why I'm so passionate about moving people forward. Anything I could do to move them forward with the same thought process, man, because I was in a desolate place for 8 years. That's not a fun place to be.
Right.
To get over that. After now I find out that D ghosted me. I thought, I did something wrong. I thought I did something wrong in that relationship, but apparently I didn't. I was in a desolate place after D for 8 years. For 8 years. And wow. I don't want to see people, I don't want to give into the fact and tell, let everybody know, hey, listen, no, it's not all right to be in that, man. That is not all right, because I wasn't all right. The 8 years that I was there, I was not all right. Someone needed to come and save me. I was not all right. Save me from myself.
Right.
You know,
So
and
how do you feel like how did that and I'm gonna get to your comments in just a second right after this because I know Martine and Mark have some comments in there. But how did it feel when she told you that she ghosted you?
I was
That it wasn't you, but that she kind of just ghosted you.
I was shocked at that, and Dee could attest to this. The phone went silent for a minute.
Like somebody ghosted me, Rebecca.
Exactly. I was like Denzel from Trent. You want to do this to me?
You gonna do me like that?
You gonna do me like that? Me?
The first time I heard the man speechless.
So I mean, that was hey, it's the first time for everything. But again, so I mean, that was at a time. Dee came along at a time in my life that I truly needed a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Michigan alone, completely alone. So she that go figure. She turned out to be a trauma coach.
Wow.
That's something. I was quite surprised and very proud at the same time that she turned out to be a trauma coach. The very same thing that I speak on all the time, talk about let's get to the trauma and all that stuff. But yeah, it was a shock for me that I was ghosted. So now, Shannon, I have been ghosted. It's on record for the record that I have been ghosted a time, you know.
Welcome to the club. So Martine said that so many people don't want a divorce because they don't want to get back into the dating game. Part of the dating game is ghosting. I don't know why. I don't know why people can't be mature and just be like, hey, we're not compatible. I think we need, move on. I don't understand why grown men cannot have those conversations.
Right.
And then she also said there's also that, I guess, the part in the vows that says for better or for worse. I don't think that God meant for us to suffer for a lifetime. I'm sorry.
Not at all.
Dating is a drag lots of the time. Yes, I do think it can be. Martine, you do want to date. Martine, since you are, I keep saying this, we've got to link up since you're local, but we can really go out there. I will go out with you and do like one of these like speed dating things. I mean, just to get out there. We can just go out together and do something.
This is a great, I like this. She said, I don't want to fight in all caps for a man or for love. In my opinion, it's not a fight.
Okay? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
It's kind of bad out there for you on the A, huh? It's kind of bad out there.
Yeah, I mean it is to a certain extent. And I think, I always say, especially here in Atlanta, because that whole ratio thing with men to women, if a man doesn't like one little thing about you, there's 20 other women around the corner that might, do whatever he wants because they're desperate for a man. I'm okay with being by myself. I've been married. I've had the family. I've had that experience. I do have friends who've never been married. They have kids, but they've never had that marriage thing. And so it's kind of that they're still in that mode. Like, I want to get married. I know for me in my next relationship, I do want to get remarried again at some point, but it's not like I'm fixated on it to where there's a level of desperation. I can pass you up. I don't necessarily have to take the first thing or the second thing that's thrown at me, if that makes sense.
Donna says that it sucks out here. She's over in Houston, so I'm more than sure it sucks out there as well.
Wow, it sucks in Houston too, Donna? Oh God, you know what? I'm just gonna say this because I heard that Italian men really like Black women. And so
the best place to go and get a net. You're not subscribed to that, what Shannon's talking about. The best place to get a good man is New Orleans itself.
Oh, you got to be out your cotton picking mind, please. Hell to the no. No.
Nothing like a Southern gentleman.
You obviously are not a Southern gentleman, sir. You did not even get out the car at the train station. So let's not do that.
He did every other time after that, though, because he knew better.
You got him straight.
Remember, I was in the Army when we met, so
I
wasn't playing any.
Okay, so I was in the Army here too. Okay, I got you.
So here's the thing with the dating thing, which is, I don't want to get into a whole other topic, but men, what the heck is with the what are you bringing to the table, sir?
Oh,
I got my own stuff. What are you bringing to the table other than a penis? Like, come on, like that question just drives me. And I'm totally off topic, but that one question
oh
just
my
drives me
God.
absolutely crazy.
But it's so valid. I don't know if you were on the conversation page that we have, and I posted a picture, and I did it specifically because one of the conversations that Trent and I had a year ago was about an ex and him complaining about what she didn't bring to the table when he was pretty much her financial supporter, right? And so the meme I put on there, it's like this broken up table, looks like trash, and I was like, this is the table. The men want to know what you're bringing, what you're bringing to this table. And I'm just like, that just is really so typical. And I'm like, and I agree. What are y'all bringing to the table? Like, and honestly, the penis ain't. That's not the end all to the be all. We got all kinds of stuff. Not only that, there's plenty of bench warmers out here that you can get.
But there'll never be a main star actually when it comes to me.
Oh
But
my God!
there'll never
Why
be,
is
there'll
it
be
that
one
men
star.
y'all are so wrapped up in your freaking penises? Whether
I'm
it's
not talking. I'm not.
or whether how you perform.
I'm not talking about penis. One star. I'm unforgettable and irreplaceable.
Oh my God. Why? Why are you unforgettable and irreplaceable though?
Because I'm a gentleman at heart.
You obviously are not, because you have already shown, based even on Dee's example, that you weren't necessarily a gentleman, right? So no.
Are we talking about the one incident where I didn't open the door?
Let's not do that. Let's not do that, because there's more than just that. I'm not gonna put you out there like that on blast, but there's more than that. Let me get back to the comments. So Mike said, AKA a high value man has all the options. Millionaire, athletes, actors, singers receive hall passes. Hashtag
Who said that? Who said that?
Your friend who's singular tonight.
Oh, Mark.
Yes. And he said, Eddie Murphy said it best. I smashed her, but I make love to you. Hashtag Mamba out. Okay, Mark. Okay. And I'm glad Martine said she's growing forward and she doesn't want to be in a place where she's only tolerated. Absolutely. I agree with that. You want to be wherever you are, you want to be valued. Yeah.
I'm glad she brought that up. Men pretty much want the same thing. We want to be valued as well. All jokes aside.
Mm-hmm.
Want to be valued as well.
Yes. Oh, hey, Amber, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, so I started a new job. Amber is actually one of the folks on my team. So I'm so glad you were able to tune in. Welcome, Amber. Don't judge me tomorrow at work, please.
Welcome, Amber. Welcome.
Tammy, welcome back. So Tammy said, my life on cheating would be a bestseller. I literally remarried my cheating ex-husband. The best decision I've ever made. Oh my, okay, Tammy. So I am going to.
This is quite interesting.
I need you to please come as your cousin. Please come on the show and let's talk about that, because I didn't know any of the background with you and your husband. They had a beautiful wedding that I got to go to up in was it South Carolina? We were at, but we went over the summer when I drove up to the wedding. But I had no clue on the background of you guys' relationship. So please let me know if you'd be willing to come on and let's continue the conversation around you marrying your cheating ex-husband.
That's quite interesting.
Wow. Oh my God. I had no idea.
Wow.
Okay. Donna said people change. Yes, people do change. And I guess Mr. Epic, we have to give him credit for that.
Thank you.
Martine, what do you mean that high value, that's BS too? What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate on that? Awesome, Tammy. I would definitely reach out to you and see when you're available. We would, if you're willing, we'd love to be able to continue the conversation Sunday since we're on this topic and hear about it and hear your perspective. Martine said, when you're this so-called high value man or woman, you don't have to announce it. Okay. All
Absolutely.
right. Okay.
I agree with that. Good stuff. Real good stuff.
Let me ask you this, because you asked us as women, and I think that as women, we're more prone to take back men who cheat on us. And it's harder for men to take back a woman that has cheated on them, not physically cheated on them. I won't even say the emotional or mental aspect of it, but would you take back someone who had cheated on you?
No.
Or how do you feel about that? No.
No.
Okay, so
let me explain. Let me give you an example. One of my brothers. I'll give you an example. One of my brothers. His first wife, she cheated. He caught her in the act, right? And he saw this. He witnessed this. So he went back. So I was like, he said, well, what do you think? I want to go back. I want my family back. I was like, yo, why would you do that?
What part of it did he witness? That he saw them out together or what?
They were in the bed together.
Oh,
they weren't doing it, but they were in the bed. So
he saw mid-stroke action.
No, not that. They were in the bed, sleeping in the bed.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
So I told him, I said, why would you do that? I said, even if you go back, if you go back, that thing is stitched in your brain. Every sleeping night, every time you get a quiet moment and she's near you, you're going to think about that. As a man, you're going to think about that. I don't care if you burn the bed, you burn the room, burn the sheets, burn the house, and rebuild the house. That thought is still embedded in your brain. So why would you put yourself through that trauma? So he didn't take the advice. He went back. Guess what? They've been divorced like a ton of years. He went back. 4 months later, it was over. Wow. Completely over. So why would you do that to yourself? Male or female, why would you do that to yourself? You're going to always think about the act. You're going to think about the act all the time. We're human. We're imperfect people in an imperfect world doing imperfect things. So why would you do that? Why would you go back? Because that's always an argument bound to happen in the back of your mind, in my opinion.
Right.
It's actually a stage in the whole cheating triad. It's called the pick me stage, where you want to go back because you want to be chosen.
Ooh.
You want to be the one they pick.
Wow.
And so
I've never heard. I
have not either. Okay, this is good, Miss D.
Yeah. So what happens is, because now when somebody finds out you cheated, your ego, your self-esteem, your worthiness is all at the bottom. And so the only way a person, like mentally, because you're in trauma brain, is in order for that to not happen, is they have to choose you again. So people will do everything possible to get that person back. They'll lose weight, they'll dye their hair, they'll learn a new subject, they'll learn a language, take up the person's hobbies in order to get them back so that they can be the one that's been chosen.
Oh
and
my!
I have to share this with you guys. Remember when I was going through that deep, and I went through that whole stage of that pick me thing. I've never heard that terminology like that. That whole pick me thing. I went out and bought the first ring I gave her was like a 3 carat. No, was it 3 carat? Yeah, it was a 3 carat. The next ring was a 5 carat. I was trying to get her back home. I was in a pick me stage, I guess. So I left the ring on the dresser, left the house, and she come home from the office. That ring and that card was still there. She did not want it. That's wow. That's powerful, man. That's real powerful. It's almost like the 5 steps of grief and loss.
It is. Yep. So
but it was like that. I mean, when I started doing all kind of crazy stuff, just buying her stuff, sending her things, everything to try to get her back. Not knowing that I was in a pick me state. That's funny.
So you did this with Morgan's character?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, so I wanted you to finish your thought on that, D. So you said that they'll do everything. They'll even adapt to the hobbies and things that the spouse like.
Okay. Because they will see. Now, here's the thing. It's never 99% of the time, cheating is never about the person being cheated on. It's always about the cheater themselves. And that the person they cheat with, 99% of the time, is a downgrade. It's rarely an upgrade. Because and there's a reason for that. Because in order to be in a relationship with somebody who will be with somebody who's married, the person that is cheating with them has to have like either low self-esteem, low self-worth. There has to be something missing in them that allows them to be second choice. So when you see all these women who are like, I'm a proud side chick, I'm like, well, what's wrong with you, baby? Who hurt you? Because there's somebody has hurt them. And that's why they are proud to be with somebody who is married, because then we go back to the no commitment, no responsibility, because there's a trauma affected with them. People who are healed and are in a stable emotional state, who've worked through all their stuff, don't want to be second best because they know their worth.
Right.
It's 13 after the hour. We're gonna have to do a part 2 of this and bring Tammy on, and D, if you will, we really will enjoy you coming back and breaking it down again and extend it. Normally, what we do when it get this hot and good, we actually extend it to another podcast. Would you be willing to come back?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I'm interested to talk to Tammy. I want to know what's going on there because I have some questions for her.
Tammy, if you could tell me real quick while we're on the chat, are you available if we continue on Sunday at 8:00 to come on? Just let me know real quick. But Amber said that the reason that men can't take women back is it hurts their ego too much. Very true. Mm-hmm. And Donna, what do you mean? She said something about I did that, Trent. She wants to know, are you talking about her? And
what she said?
She said she did. If you can elaborate on that, Donna, let us know. But something that you said she wanted to know if you were talking about her. And then Martine said there are certain things you cannot undo, and I'm sure that's in relation to whether you can take back someone who has cheated on you. And Donald's also agreeing with you, D, about the whole pick me stage. So I mean, this has been very, very enlightening. Okay, Tammy, perfect, great, thank you. I will I'll get with you offline and get all the information. We can make sure you get the link and everything for Sunday night. So yeah, we're good for Sunday to do a part 2. And I don't think that we really got yet to the whole point where I wanted you to be able to kind of explain, because I think for women, I know for me in my brain, I think that no, if you really love someone, you're not going to cheat on them. You're going to do what you need to do to maintain the fidelity, all of that stuff. So it will be interesting to hear that perspective of why I love you, even though I'm giving up a part of me to someone else.
I share a little bit of it, then I'll finish it off on Sunday. But I'll give an example. Taylor's mom. I was very young. Extremely young, but I did love her. But the trauma within me, I wanted every single woman I could get my hands on. So that trauma inside superseded any feeling I had for her. Did that make any sense? Okay. I still love her. I loved her, but that trauma wanted to eat, and I gave into the trauma.
So is it based on, and I'm just questioning what you knew love or what you defined love to be at that time, because at that time. And maybe we could address this when we come back on Sunday. Is love to you what it was when you were at that stage in your life with your first wife?
No, but I will tell you, I fell deeper in love with her when I found out that she was pregnant. And I started flying back to go to the doctor visits and all that stuff. And I felt my baby. I felt Taylor in her. I fell more in love with her. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because
my thing is that it didn't keep you, or at least that trauma, it didn't keep you or stop you from continuing to be.
It kept me going, but
the trauma in your life is
once Taylor was conceived, the more sensitive side of me kept coming through. So what I was doing at that time, I would fly her to LA and she'd stay a month with me while she's pregnant. Matter of fact, we went through that big earthquake back in '94. She was with me at my condo the entire time, big pregnant. She was like 8 months pregnant or something like that. But I fell in love with her. I wanted to do the right thing at that point. But trauma is so hard, man. When you're dealing with trauma is so hard to fight.
Right.
And I was dealing with some serious demons back then, man. And can you imagine a guy that young having all those women at his disposal at any given time? And these women love to be side chicks. They were cool with Me
Wow.
being married and baby on the way, they were cool with that as long as they had a chance to be with me. So that was my drug. I was intoxicated by that. The thought of them wanting to be with me. It was
Wow.
very intoxicating for me.
Okay.
So that drunkenness superseded any love I had for her. So just because I cheated did not mean that I didn't love her. You guys get it?
Mhm.
Yeah. Of what you understood and defined love as being.
Exactly.
Because we all I think we all have our own definition or experience of what we think love is or what
I
we
agree.
experience love to be.
I agree. What's your thoughts on that, D? What's your thoughts on what I just said? I love
So,
to hear.
well, remember when there's stages in love. So that first stage of love, that infatuation, that excitement, it's a drug, literally. Like your
Mm-hmm.
body is filled with dopamines all the time. So as that stage moves away, you go from being in love to true love,
Right.
because true love is a choice every single day.
Right.
Right? Being in love is like that person, you're screaming from the mountaintops how fabulous they are, and you ignore every single red flag that person ever had. Right? And that's how you
Exactly.
know. And then you have what's called limerence, is when you start mirroring each other. So like you'll start doing the same things, you'll start ordering the same foods. Like I study NLP as well, neuro linguistic programming, and how people get you to do things that you don't realize you're doing.
Mm.
And a lot of cheaters will um, be who that person that they want needs in order to get them.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, for the YouTube folks, I'm getting a message saying that the feed cut off on YouTube. I
No,
think we're still there, so the feed is still live. So
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
still
people
there.
are still commenting, but I would love for when Sunday, if you can go more depth on that with the stages of love. And so Tammy said she'd love to speak on what Donna said about it's something missing in you to be a second or side chick. She said it wasn't true for me when she was the cheater. Thank you for being someone who's willing to admit that as a female, because Mark doesn't think that women are willing to admit that. Um,
oh, but look down what she says later. She goes, actually, my confidence went from a 10 to a 15.
Wow.
Wait, what?
Well, this is going to be good, Tammy. I'm so glad
So,
that you're going to
This is
come
gonna
on
be
and
super good, man. Actually, D, thank you. I can't thank you enough, and thank you for actually relieving my mind. I thought I really cheated on you. I really did.
no,
that's
man.
just really sad. Like you just how did you not know that you didn't do that? Are
You know,
you
with the condition, I totally honestly, in all honesty, I did not remember. I did not remember how the relationship ended. I didn't.
I believe you. I believe you. Many
so
others would not, but I believe you.
you remember everything preconditioned, all the women you was dealing with and stuff, but the post condition stuff is a little I don't know. When does the time cut off that you don't remember stuff?
Like honestly, it was so many. It's so many women in my past. Some of them I actually forget. I totally forget.
Oh my God, that does
Yeah,
not make it any better, sir.
I give you an example, right?
Did you
Florence
just
and
hear
I.
what you said? That does not make it any better. That
I
there are
know, but
so many
let
women
me
that
let me
you
let me
forget.
let me give an
I
example, right?
wish I could say that to a dude. There are so many dudes that I forget what I.
Let me give you an
You
example.
called me a whole tramp. This,
Let me give
all that.
let me
But
give you
we
an example.
but we give you your kudos and praise. That's so many.
Let me give you an example, right?
Yes, sir.
Torrance and I went to a wedding, to Frankie's wedding, and we got on the topic of, Torrance goes out when he comes to town, he goes out with his girl, and women started approaching Torrance because they haven't seen me in years. So sometimes they kind of get us confused, mixed up. Because actually at the wedding, someone say, "What's up, Trini?" It's like, "Nah, I'm Torrance," but they kind of get us, mixed up. They used to get Greg, all of us mixed up. So women would approach Torrance in front of his girlfriend, and they would have long, extended conversation. So he would have a time telling her, "Hey, that she wasn't with me. She was with my brother." And I heard it from his girlfriend. She was like, "There's so many of them approaching him." Like, I was like, "I'm sorry, but I'm sorry." I mean, I don't. I don't know, but
Again, no woman is proud to have community dick.
I'm not saying I'm proud of that. I mean,
You are, because every time you talk about it, you smile. There's a sense of pride in that. There's a sense of pride and accomplishment. Don't lie. Be honest with yourself on that, sir. Be honest with yourself. There's a sense of pride in that.
Hey, I was a popular guy. That's
Oh
all.
my God. Oh my, like we could never as women go down there talking about there's so many men, they get us confused. Like, are you serious? So yes, I will always say straight hold 'em. Straight hold 'em.
D, what did do you have anything to add to that?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I've never come to visit you in down there in New Orleans, so all those women coming around.
They don't come around me. They don't come around me.
Be prepared.
No, I was good. No, I'm gonna. Lady does not kiss and tell, so let's move on.
Oh, don't worry. I still got my note that we got to go back to about him not keeping up with you. You ain't getting off that easy.
Oh, she didn't say I didn't keep up.
I said he was the only one that could.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me correct that. Okay, only one that could. Okay, we'll discuss on Sunday.
Okay. Y'all a mess.
We'll discuss on Sunday. So hold on, let me finish. Make sure get through some of these comments real quick. Martine said the whole being proud to be a side boo stuff is insane. Very much so. Martine also said, in her opinion, something has to have changed for a person to feel the need to be with someone else, unless they're just letting sex or lust be what drives them to cheat. Tammy did say, that was part of the comment earlier where she said it wasn't anything missing on her part where it actually boosted her confidence.
Can we get to Mark's comment? I noticed you kind of doing that.
Nobody care about Mark. He said, two can play that game. I'm hearing next. He said, I'm hearing next too close as the theme music for this show.
No, can you get to the panel comment?
Mark. The panel is badgering the host. Are you serious? Mark, he puts it out there. He published it in a book and makes money off telling this story, telling the world that he was a hoe and that his brothers were hoes with him and his daddy. God rest his soul. And God rest your other brothers. So
Big Will, and G Money forever.
Y'all was some hoes. Y'all was some hoes. Straight hoes. And then Martine last comment said, I've seen how women begin to behave like the guys they're hoping to marry or be with, trying to impress him, but ends up becoming like one of the fellas, a homie to her man. Okay, we can elaborate on it. We can move into that some more too, Martine. I hope you can come back Sunday, Martine. I don't know what your schedule is for work, but hopefully you can come back Sunday because I think this is going to be great. Thank you so much, Tammy, for agreeing to come on Sunday. I will get with you afterwards and make sure that we get all your information so we can get you signed up to with the link and everything to be on with us on Sunday. So I'm definitely looking forward to you and also Miss D coming back on Sunday. And then we're going to find out what you did that you could keep up. We're going to find out.
Wait, what'd you say?
We gonna find out. We gonna find out how you was keeping up, what you was doing, stuff.
It was a very intense relationship and a very intense, healthy relationship. Wouldn't you say, D?
I would agree.
You know me, I'm real nosy. I don't care. I ask questions.
Good stuff. Well, D, really appreciate it. Get you guys to check out D and all the coaching. TikTok, you go to our website, dlayler.com is a spot to catch you at. What's your TikTok handle?
Coach D Layler.
She's a straight talk, no chaser type coach, and she's a wonderful person. Stamp of approval.
Well, thank you all for having me. This was a blast. I can't wait till Sunday.
Yes, we can't either. I think it's going to be exciting.
It will. I'm tempted. But I have some books for people.
Yes.
They're not my books, but If you've been cheated on, Leave a Cheater, Gain a Life. Great book. It's yellow. You can't read it, right? And there's another one. If you're curious about what cheating does, Cheating in a Nutshell, what infidelity does to the victim, is a really interesting read. And then once you read that, you're like, wow. And then you start thinking about the trauma that's involved with relationships. So there's and then Healing Your Heart, Whole Again is another great book as well. So if you're going to work on your trauma, read the books and do the exercises and to reach out to people and talk. Because I know within our community, we don't talk about mental health and we need to. So, thank you all for coming on. MJ Marine, my brothers were Marines, and I want to tell you to put down the crayons, sir, because some of your stuff sounds a little off. But I look forward to talking to you all on Sunday.
Yes, you come back anytime. Thank you, Mark. We're gonna get you together, sir.
There you go. Knock it off.
That's
I
okay.
really appreciate
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. It has been a great conversation. Please make sure that you go over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button so that you are always aware of when we are on live and getting into the gumbo, so to speak, on Wednesdays and Sundays. And make sure, invite someone over, bring your favorite adult beverage, and let's just have some real transparent adult conversation. Thank you, Coach D, for coming on. I look forward to seeing you again on Sunday. And Tammy, I look forward to hearing your story on Sunday and to you sharing with us and with our viewers. So have a great week, everyone. We'll see you again on Sunday.
You guys be epic.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.